Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back once again to the channel. You know it is JJ with you once again. First time here, guess what? Just hit that subscribe button. Don't forget about the like button. Don't forget about the notification bell so you know when I post the next video. I guess you guys are probably wondering about the thumbnail, the startup of the show, the thumbnail. It says, good morning with the Ram. Did you get a bite of it yet? Did you get a bite of your Ram? I'll tell you what. When it comes to the system's Ram, it looks like everybody's getting the bite. Seriously. We got a whole show for you right now, and we got more to come after that, so make sure you stick around to the end. It does help a lot. And also to subscribe. And also too, I left the link in the chat, the live chat, so if you guys want to be a Discord member, costs nothing to become a Discord member. All you got to do is click in, and well, it does cost a little. It'll cost you to subscribe to the channel. So if you subscribe to the channel and help us out, click on the link, become a Discord member. It's not a begging tool. I just do that to make sure we get all the subscribers and we get everybody to, help fill us up here on YouTube. It's not like YouTube pays me anything anyway, because they don't. Not yet, but maybe someday. But anyway, I'm kind of letting everybody roll in a little bit. And I'm sitting there and got my Arizona iced tea right here. Don't forget your drinking snacks, of course. Got some Arizona iced tea. And also, too, I got some Mayo Unwind right there. Got some Mayo Unwind Blueberry Lemon. And I got my big cup for sure. God, I could use the hell out of this big cup. Lettering's almost gone now. Ooh. That will wake you up, trust me. So, before we get into it, I got a question for you guys. How much is your system RAM really costing you now that they're starting to hike? They hiked the prices up? I'm going to tell you like this. The RAM that's in this computer right here, the DDR5 RAM, I can't find it anywhere. Well, I can find it, but I think they want like $500 for the 32 gigs of it. It's 6,000 megahertz CL28. They want almost $500 for it. I was like, oh my God, no. I saw that like a couple days ago. Now, I can't even find it. Believe it or not. I can't even find that brand. So, yes, I got my Mr. Delivery shirt on for you guys tonight because we're going to deliver a whole bunch of mess to you. And it's going to get ugly. And and viewer discretion is advised at this point. If you got kids watching the video right now, cover their ears. Tell them it's the adult night. Go in the other room. Because it's going to get nasty. Not nasty to where we're really going to get nasty. I'm not getting butt naked nasty. No, that's not happening here. So don't get your mind out of the gutter right there. But I can tell you, I'm going to tell you like this. With my system RAM right now, I'm not going to sell it for $500. Even though he got it for $109. I know that would be like a $394 profit. But I'm not going to soak somebody for that. That's bullshit. Somebody asked me, what was it, yesterday in an email. Says, hey Jay, would you think about considering of selling your RAM in your PC? I was like, no. I got ample amount of VRAM or system RAM in each one of my PCs. I'm not selling it. When RAM prices come down in 2028, maybe. But, you know, I'm not thinking about selling it anytime soon. So, answer's no. I see you're giving your sponsor a plug, Mr. Delivery. No, this is actually not a sponsor. This is not a sponsor. A friend of mine had a bunch of shirts that he had sitting brand new at the time. And they were just sitting in a box. He said, here, I'll give you a bunch of shirts. You know, I said, cool. So I took them. You know, so I wear them. Hey, look, you got to do what you got to do. And if it's for free, whatever. You know what I'm saying? My damn dog better behave herself. Go to bed. Go to bed. Go to bed. You ain't getting nothing. No. No, you put yourself right on top of your blankie. There you go. Yes, the dog's asking me for a biscuit. I ain't giving the dog no biscuit. I gave her like 3 biscuits earlier and she chewed them all up. But anyway, guys, I know there's a lot of crunch in the PC world right now over system RAM. And there's already, and I'm going to tell you, with video RAM, there's rumors that it's not going to go up as high, you know, but I don't know. I mean, I'm skeptical right now because hearing that NVIDIA is not sending out VRAM to their partners, their AIB partners, that they're just sending the GPU die and they're not sending the VRAM chips. Why would they send the VRAM chips anyway? This is just like, that's different manufacturing. The only thing that NVIDIA send out is the GPU die. They wouldn't send out the VRAM chips. Not unless they're buying it at a lower bulk and then they're selling them to the AIB partners. They're manufacturing. That would be good sense. That would be like buying a McDonald's and having McDonald's rent you land. Makes no sense. You got to pay rent for something you build. So that's basically what it sounds like to me, that you're paying rent for something that you're building and selling to the consumer. Could it be? Could it be that NVIDIA and, you know, I'm not sure about AMD and how they do things, but I heard this about NVIDIA that they were doing that, but I doubt it. I doubt it because most of these companies that build the GPUs out in China, they buy direct from the source. They don't really buy from AIB partners. So if they're getting it built in China or wherever else, we don't know. They're probably getting built somewhere else. But I doubt NVIDIA is going to be outsourcing VRAM chips to their AIB partners. That's crazy. Why would they do that? And they can buy it right from SK Hynix or Samsung or Micron. Why would they outsource it? Just didn't make sense to me, guys. Did not make sense. Fake Frame says, even according to that rumor, is that only the major AIBs will get it, and smaller ones. Yeah, but it's a rumor, though. You know, we don't know how accurate that is. It just doesn't make sense to me. Why would the manufacturers Okay, I can understand that, NVIDIA will take the GPU die itself and send a certain amount to AIB partners. I understand that. And then the AIB partners send it out to the manufacturers that manufacture the PCB and they put all the parts on. But I think the manufacturers would get it direct from, like Micron, SK Hynix, and Samsung. Why would they get it directly from NVIDIA? Why would NVIDIA have a hand in that? Is it that they get it for a cheaper price? There's a lot of questions on this. A lot of question marks on this. So I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, and I'm going to tell y'all to do the same. So, until we know for a fact, remember, until we know for a fact, everything becomes fiction. So that means it's not real. And that's the way I take it. And I mean, until I see hard facts, hardcore facts, it's just fiction to me. I mean, I'm not going to take it for real. Leaks and rumors. Yeah, I'll put out there that this person said they had a leak on something. But 9 out of 10 chances doesn't mean it's going to come true. If it does, then they have the connection that told them the truth. But now these days, everybody's lying to everybody when it comes to getting solid answers on equipment for your PC and when they're coming out and everything else. I mean, it's just a bait and switch, and it blows my head up. I don't want to blow all my subscribers' heads up and do all this bait and switch. That's why I'm kind of leaning back from the rumor kind of thing. But what we're talking about here tonight is about the system RAM. And, not just the VRAM. VRAM will come in play. We'll do it later on, after we get this out of the way. So, I was doing a little bit of digging on some system RAM. So let's go ahead and switch over and see what I got cooking. Okay, so we're over here on the system RAM. I mean, look, we're going to do some commentary all the way through this. So we're going to do some commentary all the way through this. So let's just get it down. So that's nice white sticks, but DDR5 RAM, 32 gigs, 6400 CL32 for $327. That's pricey. That is very pricey. I mean, if you do the math, it's like what? Over $200 more? $200 more? It's not worth it. 6,000 microtransfers or megahertz, whatever they want to say. CL30. 32 gigs of it. AMD Expo. Oh, so they name them out so that way everybody's like, oh, it's for AMD, it's Expo. This will run for Intel as well, so don't get it wrong. It's for Intel and AMD. Just make sure you check the QVL on your motherboard before you decide to buy your RAM. Because you don't want to buy a stick of RAM and it doesn't work and then you're stuck holding the RAM. So, just keep that in mind. $350, oh hell no. Not for 32 gigabytes of 6,000 megahertz CL30. I could have got this for $119 before they did this hike. $119, $120 for 32 gigs of it. Probably. Another manufacturer, but I could see this probably being $100 cheaper, $120 cheaper or something like that. But let's see, 32 gigs, 6,000 microtransfers, CL28. Still unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, that is unbelievable. So, what we're doing is we're going through and we're looking at the RAM to see what's the good, bad, and ugly. Like this is 6,000 microtransfer CL36, 32 gigs of it for $310. Oh my god. Oh my god. 6400 CL32, 340, almost 400 bucks for 32 gigs, 6,000 microtransfer CL20, 400 bucks. So you can see why they said mine would have been around 500 bucks. So right here, 64. Well, this is 64 gigs. And looking at this is 32 gigs. And for 25 more dollars, without RGB, you get 64 gigs. And this is 6,000 megahertz CL40. That's stupid. This is stupid right here. Come on, guys. You know it's stupid for this price. And this is SODIMM laptop RAM. Well, we'll do this. DDR5 5600 megahertz. SODIMM RAM CL46. $547 for what? $547 for what? 64 gigs? That's stupid. This is utterly stupid. Oh my god. I mean, even SODIMM RAM is like, this is like $256 for this. And no RGB, no heat spreaders. Well, you can't put heat spreaders on these. You can, but it's very, 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 very thin heat spreaders you can put on that. So $579, 64 gigs, 6,000 CL36, 580 bucks. Might as well say just 600 bucks after shipping. Look at this. Lexar Thor Z. Oh, it's got the Thor in there. Oh my god. 6,000 megahertz. They don't even tell you the CL rating. I don't think. I have to look. 32 gigs, $330. Corsair Vengeance, 96 gigabytes. 6,000 CL36, $539.22. That's stupid, man. 7,200 CL34. Okay, this is 6,000 CL36. Well, it's 96 gigabytes. That's still too high. 7,200 CL34. 32 gigs, $390. Oh, nasty. HPE, 64 gigs. Look at this. This is sick. 64 gigs. DDR5, 5600. CL46, $1,239. Oh, that's HPE though. But it's registered RAM. That's still sick. Okay, now let's move on to DDR4. Let's move on to that's DDR5. Let's move on to DDR4. Same RAM I got in this computer over here. 32 gigs. 3200 megahertz CL16. 32 gigs. $157. $157. I paid $129 for 64 gigs of that same RAM for this computer. This one over here. 64 gigs. Let's see. Let's do a price comparison. Let's get the calculator up. Right? So, let's take and say, let's say $130 minus 157. If you guys look at it, and DDR4, that's terrible. So what you need to do is this. Take 157 and you times it by 2 for 4 sticks instead of 2. That's $314 for 64 gigs. Because in DDR4, you can populate all 4 slots, like I did. So that's $314, right? So you minus the $130 I got from $130 I got from mine. So you're spending over double the amount for 64 gigs just for this RAM. That's stupid. That's totally stupid. And even the 16 gigs of RAM, they want $63. Oh, goddamn. Look. Oh, you guys can't see it. Oh my god. Anybody want to buy 16 gigs for $63? This is an 8 gig stick. If you don't believe I got the pair, I'm going to show you. I have the pair. So, I ain't selling it though. Figured you guys would get a little kick out of that. But I ain't selling it. So, oh my god. Hello there, unoriginal. I'm going to try to find DDR5 RAM deals off Newegg or Micro Center. Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're just doing the Amazon. I'm going to switch over to Newegg. So just sit tight. Let's see. Is there any... I'm just looking to see how much they jack the prices up on DDR4. You know, it doesn't look like they went up that much. Like $20. And, well, no, actually $130, but alright. Let's move over to Newegg DDR5 and see what they got. They got Team Group. Team Group. CL38. 16 gigs. 6,000 megahertz. CL38. 16 gigs, $130. G-Skill Flare, 64 gigs, $570. Corsair Vengeance, 32 gigs, $6,000. CL36, $410. $410. 64 gigs, $570. Let's see. 128 gigabytes of RAM. This is 6,000 CL34. $930 for 264 gig sticks. And this is on Newegg, believe it or not. Corsair Vengeance, 32 gigs. 6400 CL36. It's a dual channel kit. $407. Nemex, don't know this company. Looks like it is... Oh, that's DDR4, guys. Never mind. 64 gigs, 6,000, CL30, $840. $840. 32 gigs, CL36, 6,000, $395. G-Skill, 32 gigs, 7,600. CL36, $410. 64. Is that 64? Yeah, 64 gigs. 6,000. CL36. $20 off promo code. So that makes that $550 for 64 gigs. This off Newegg, guys. 7,000 CL36. Corsair Vengeance, 32 gigs. $460. This says even save more with the promo code. I guess it comes with the promo code, but it doesn't say what. So, moving on. 64 gig kit, 6,000 CL32, $710. Unbelievable. 64 gig kit, 6,000 CL30, save $27. So 877 minus 27, $850 for that RAM. $850 for this RAM right here. 64 gig kit. Corsair Dominator Titanium, 64 gigs. 6,000 CL30. And I guess they got a promo code too. $950. Now you're approaching well over a high-end graphics card just for RAM. Oh my God, I told you guys the soup is going to get thick tonight. Gigastone, 32 gigs. 5,600 megahertz. CL40. $336. Oh, hell no. Come on, guys. This is just stupid ridiculous for that price. 16 gigabytes. 5,200. CL40. Corsair. Vengeance, 16 gigs. $210. Wow. That's stupid. Gigastone. RGB RAM 32 gigs, 5,600. CL40, $340. Free gift with the purchase on this one. 32 gigs. Corsair Vengeance RGB. I guess that makes it run faster with RGB. 6000 CL30, $438. G-Skill Trident Z5 NED RGB series, 32 gigs, 6400 CL30, 6400 CL30, $500. I'm just going through a slew of the RAM. This one here, 5200 CL40, $386. I mean, you guys are getting the idea. I mean, $756. Oh my God. You could buy virtually, with these prices, you could virtually buy a whole brand new PC minus the RAM until prices come down. This right here, the 128 gigabytes, $1,484 and $1,485. Brand new fucking PC right here. Just for 2 sticks of RAM. 2 sticks of 64 gigs of RAM. You can buy a whole brand new goddamn PC for that. Minus the RAM. It's going to be a stew tonight. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be. I find it crazy that people are buying this much RAM for AI, even though AI is already too good. Yeah, I know. Hey, I'm with you on that. I am 100% with you on that. But even this off-brand RAM is $1,163. It's got no heat spreader. It's RDIMM, but it's server RAM. You want to talk about... I got 32 gigs of server RAM, but I'm not going to tell everybody it's going to cost you $800 for it. But, I mean, this is just... I mean, crazy. We're in the coming soons. Kingston Fury, 16... Look at this, Kingston Fury. I guess they got to put Kingston Fury to tell everybody it's 2 8 gigabyte sticks. 16 gigabytes, 5600 CL36. 16 gigabytes, $253. Man. And look what I found out from my RAM. This is what I found out. Nothing. It's not even being listed in Newegg, or it's not even being listed in Amazon. So the RAM I got, I guess they discontinued it because I cannot find it anywhere. Okay, so King Bank RGB. This is DDR4. DDR4. DDR5 5200. It is 5200 CL44. $784 for this right here. This is stupid. I'll even go to Micro Center. I'll type in Micro Center. Oh, I can't spell much. Let's see. Okay. DDR5 RAM. 32 gigs, 250. G-Skill. This is 6000 CL36, 250 bucks. Crucial Pro, 32 gigs, 6000. 6000 what? They didn't list it. CL36, 250. G-Skill Flare 5, 16 gigs. 16 gigs, 6000 CL36, $125. I'm bringing this to you what, you're going to see in a few if you go over there yourself. So, Ripjaws, 32 gigs, 6000 CL36, 250. 250 for this. Well, this one is 128 gigs. There's no sense in talking about it. It's only 5600. 64 gigs. Crucial Pro 6400 CL40, $531. Trident Z for G-Skill, 32 gigs, 6000 CL28, $400. So you can imagine the RAM I got is between $400 and $500. So you can see the numbers are real. This is real. This is live. You guys are seeing it all live. And make sure you got your drink and snacks because you're going to be overheated about this. But AI also can be used to save lives. Yeah, I do agree. After it heated up a server room to try stopping itself from shutting down. Yeah, I do remember that. I really didn't get into it because if it's gonna do something like that, they should have put it on camera. They should have put it on YouTube. They should have put it where everybody can see it happening. I don't know if they did or didn't. I didn't really look for that video, but maybe y'all can find it for me. If you do, let me know. This is ridiculous. 5600 for 500 bucks. Crucial Pro 318, 6400 CL38. Crucial Pro overclocking. Duh. Most of your RAM can overclock anyway. 32 gigs, CL36, and it's 6000, 300 bucks. I can tell you the price of RAM, even at, Micro Center, is stupidly sick. Even the prices over here are not any better. I mean, 48 gigabytes of Corsair Dominator Titanium. 2 times 24. 7200 CL36. $725. They marked it down from $1,000. So that's the case. So they marked it down from $1,000 minus $725. So you get a discount of $275. That makes it look really special. That's just telling me it's a ripoff. So, end of the day, guys, I'm going to tell you. RAM prices are going to stay hot and high for a long time until they come down. And a lot of analysts are saying the prices are not going to come down until at the middle to the third quarter of 2027. Maybe it'll reach over to 2028 when it comes to system RAM. That's what analysts are kind of saying the way the market's rolling right now. It can change at any time. Now keep that in mind. The market can change at any time. There could be a blow up and then AI just falls. And then the RAM prices are just going to crash. Simple. And when they crash, the companies are going to crash hard, and then they're going to be sitting on a ton of product that they can't sell because they got it overpriced, and then prices are just going to drop like a brick. So they can sell, so they can at least make money off of their product a little bit. No, they're trying to triple it up so they can double up into their pockets. We all know how this is going, and it's being ridiculous. They're just being totally ridiculous. And when this AI bubble crashes hard, hopefully, then after that, they're going to come crawling back to the gamers. They're going to come crawling back to all of us. And they're going to say like this: "Oh, I'm sorry, I made such a mistake." Remember the crypto mining? How they were shoveling it out for the crypto miners and that crashed? Oh, they crashed hard. They got sued over that. The only one that stayed out of that bubble was AMD and Intel. Nvidia took a lot of fall on that. And now, it's not too much crypto mining going on. There is a little, but not a lot. It's not hot and heavy anymore. Maybe one day it'll get hot and heavy again, and everybody will have their graphics card and they'll just mine away and they'll make some money. So, I can tell you guys, I'm not impressed with this. That's why I made that meme before I started up the live. When I started up the live stream, I had that meme there. There was a reason why I had that meme there. And as you guys can see, it's not good. It's actually pretty bad. So, and I'm not trying to scare everybody. It's not that at all. Here's the problem. These companies, we all knew they were going to do this. They said earlier in the year that they're going to jump up prices. Okay, now let me explain another thing to y'all. Those companies over in Japan that are producing those plates for the dies and the RAM and stuff like that, they're sitting on a bunch over there in those big companies. They're sitting on a bunch of chips. And they're just holding them and making us wonder if they're actually going to do something with them. They got other data centers that are out there that they didn't even plug into the power yet. They're not even plugged in. It's got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of chips in them. And they're not even being used. That's why I'm gonna say, you know, they're gonna blow this so far out of the water. In the end of the day, they're gonna lose a ton of money if they're not careful. I mean a ton of money. I mean millions to billions to trillions of dollars. If this bubble bursts, Nvidia is looking to lose a lot of money. So they're praying to God that this holds up long enough for them to get all the products they promised to these companies up and out. And if the AI boom busts, then Nvidia is not sitting with product holding, waiting and waiting. But right now, that's what they're doing. They're sitting on the product. You guys can believe me or not. Go do your research, and you'll find out that these companies are sitting on product. And it's not really being moved much. But these companies, like these manufacturers for system RAM, they're buying all the plates they can. And the people that are producing those plates for the chips, they're making money 10 times over what they were making back at least 2 years ago. Now they're making last year, I would say. Let's go last year. But they're making money 10 times over. Because the ones that are producing the plates, they actually raised the prices. Raised the prices. So who do they think that's going to buy all these? They're just passing around money back and forth. The only one that's making the trillions of dollars is NVIDIA. AMD's not up there yet. Neither is Intel. You don't see Asus busting out into the trillions, or ASRock, or Gigabyte, or MSI. You don't see them busting into the trillions. And they're the ones putting it all together. AMD, Intel, and NVIDIA are not really putting out a founder's card. They don't really have been doing it that much. So they haven't been spending much money. The biggest company in the world making over $5 trillion, can't even put out a Founders Edition card. That's just plain frickin' sad. That's just plain sad. In my point of view, it's sad. Hello there, AF. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the channel. If you have to buy a new PC tower, because I work at home, which graphics card do you recommend? I am leery of NVIDIA, just from an old timer. Well, I've been doing this over 3 decades. Okay, I'm going to tell you that. The card I use is the RTX 4070. It's an NVIDIA card made by Asus. It's the Asus Dual RTX 4070. I've been using it for longer than 2 years with no problems. 2 years. Over 2 years with no problems. Not one problem. I game with it. I content create with it. I do business work with it. No, I don't sleep with it, but anyway, don't get any ideas. So, only reason I like NVIDIA so much is because of the AV1 encoding. It's really nice. You guys see how I stream. I got no problem streaming. So, I do everything off of OBS, but, I don't need all that extra programs. I just use one program, I'm good. I game with this on Steam. I play Cyberpunk with no problem. NVIDIA is a really good card. Okay? Don't get it wrong. Don't be leery about anything. The 50 series, I would have been leery about. That's the reason why I'm still on the 40 series. Is because I was not impressed with the 50 series. Not at all. And I'm really not impressed with AMD neither. After a good subscriber that's on the channel tested the 9060 XT 16 gigabyte, and he wasn't impressed in it neither. That was Mr. Machine. He told me he liked the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte better. And that's a $400 card. That was a good deal for that card. He paid $400 for it. So, if you really, really, really want to know, and everybody can say, oh, Redstone's coming out, Redstone's coming out. You know what? So what? I've already tried, RDNA 4, INT 8, a rendition of RDNA 4. I wasn't impressed with it neither. So, I'm not an NVIDIA fanboy. I'm a fan of all the hardware. I have AMD graphics cards. See, if you don't believe me, I have an AMD graphics card right here. RX 7600. Was donated by Mr. Machine, by the way. So, I'm impressed with the 7600. That was pretty good. Running it with the FSR4 INT8, it would look pretty good. I'm not going to knock it. It's an 8 gigabyte card, but I'm still not going to knock it. Right now, I got in here. This is where I test all of it. I got the RX 5500 testing it on FSR4. And that's a 4 gigabyte card. And it's only using 3.2 gigabytes of VRAM on Cyberpunk. So, I'm impressed with that. So, yeah. Let me see what you guys are saying so I catch up with you guys. Thanks. Sometimes I pass out on at my desk. I have to Zoom HIPAA compliant meetings. My camera is advanced. Yeah, you're best to go with NVIDIA with that, especially if you're using OBS. OBS is really good with it. That's how I'm live streaming now, is with OBS, with the RTX 4070, and you guys, it's only at 1080p anyway. I'm not running 4K, so it's not too bad. Let's see what else you guys got cooking here. An original says, I don't want to get NVIDIA because of how they price their GPUs, like how Apple prices their trash cans. Yeah, I know. The good thing, there's a bad thing that when they first come out, yeah, they're overpriced. But the good thing is you can wait 6 to 8 months and then think about buying it. Because by then the prices are already at the point to where they're coming down and they're already going to start running sales. So, yeah, I kind of wait. They launch a product, I wait, and then after that, I'll see what the price is then. If it's low enough, then I'll buy it. Until then, I'm not going to buy it. I do agree with that. They are overpriced. In the beginning, they should underprice them, and then if they're good or bad or whatever, they could go up 10%, but they don't. They don't do smart business now these days. Doesn't matter what company it is. Nobody's doing smart business. Don't matter who it is. So, I not take one chatter personal preference as gospel. Yeah, I agree with you. Hello there, Russ V. Welcome to the channel. Good to see you. An original says, thought that GPU was a 66. No, it's not a 6600. It's actually the RX 7600. Mr. Machine can tell you that whenever he jumps on. Um, Tell Mr. Machine to donate that card if he doesn't like it. Yeah, well, he can't because that's a part of his his agreement with the pre-built that he got, and it was a really good pre-built he got. I mean, but he can't until the warranty runs out, so that's going to be a no-go. I hate Apple with the passion of 1,000 burning suns. Yeah, don't. Hey, I got Samsung when it comes to the phone. I got Samsung, so I ain't worried about Apple. I had an Apple once. You know what happened to it? I destroyed it. That's how much I enjoyed the Apple phone. Trust me, the phone was only $200. I got it on a used sale. The phone was reset to factory. Everything was fine with it. I just didn't like the restrictions. That's all. So, Apple is going to get Intel to start manufacturing a portion of all new upcoming M series silicon. Yeah, I heard about that. If it's helping getting Intel back on their feet so they can start producing good products again, I'm all for it. Simple said. I'm all for it. Well, if Nvidia underprices them, then they're going to lose all of their money due to a demand, so they have to change their prices more. Well, they can float their prices. But what they need to do is they need to have a nice normal yield on MSRP until the AIB partners, and the AIB partners should be looking around for companies that would make the GPUs cheaper. Premium parts, but cheaper. They can force the issues with the companies that produces these graphics cards. They can say, hey, look, you don't produce it the way we want it, then you don't want to drop the price on it, then guess what? We're not going to buy it. We're going to go to somebody else and have them produce it. They have a lot of factories that they can go to produce the new graphics cards. They just don't have to stick with one. Not unless they're a company that produces their own stuff. And if they do, and they charge high prices, just tell them to piss off. So, Temple OS phone now. I don't know what one that is, but the iPhone 16 Pro is here. Hello there, Dr. Blitz. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. The Whipple. Good to see you. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. Even Google Play and Samsung aren't safe anymore. Starting next year with the new Android updates, we won't be able to download external apps. Yeah, I heard about that too. It doesn't bother me because I've only used a very few apps, and the apps that I download are basically apps that, Google approves of. So I'm not really worried about what they're going to be doing next year. But if all you got to do is make sure every app that you got that Google approves of it, you're fine. I wouldn't worry about it. I used to hack the iPod shuffles to not use iTunes. Bricked a few of them, my phone, and I bought extra clones. No, I don't blame you. There's some features that I don't like on some phones. I just take and uninstall them. I don't need the features. I can get the features back if I want, if I take and do a factory reset, but I really don't need certain features. Security features is a different story, but when it comes to the bloatware, I just take out the bloatware. I already did that. I stripped out all the bloatware. Because I got the Samsung Galaxy, was it the S26 Ultra? Yeah, I stripped out all the bloatware. So there ain't no bloatware in here. I just can't remember about the Temple OS. It's just I have so much going on in my mind right now. I mean, I'll take a look at it. It's been, let's see. Let's see. It's a biblical themed lightweight operating system designed to be the third temple from the Hebrew Bible. So this is what it says. The Temple OS is a biblical themed lightweight operating system designed to be the third temple from the Hebrew Bible. It was created by an American computer programmer, Terry A. Davis, who developed it alone over the course of a decade after the series of Maniac episodes that he later described it as a revelation from God. Temple OS is an example of coding as an art form. System was characterized as a modern x86 64 Commodore. Okay, yeah, now I'm starting to remember this. Proclaimed that the systems featuring such as the 640 x 480 resolution, 16 color display. This is a long time ago, and I can't believe I forgot all this. Single voiced audio were designed according to the explicit instructions from God. It was programmed with the custom JIT variant of C in place of BASIC, and included an original flight simulator compiler and kernel. First released in 2005 as a J operating system. I do remember the J operating system. Temple OS was renamed in 2013 and last updated in 2017. So, there. Now we got the history of it. There we got the history of it. So now it brings me to remember what it was about. What is special? One man wrote the entire OS by hand. Yeah. I heard about that a long time ago. I never explored it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never explored it, but I heard about it, and Microsoft had to have been pissed off about the OS or something, and I don't know. It's just, so I know Microsoft had their hand in something of this, because basically when you're trying to mimic one system to the next, some codes are going to overlap each other. So, especially when you're trying to do it on an x86 system, a 64-bit x86 system, you're still going to have code overlap, some of Microsoft and some of that code, but never know. Terry was likely fan of being sleeper derived and being loopy and take advantage of it as a great coding time. Yeah. Well, that was back then. Now they don't. They use AI for coding. They really use AI for coding. Truthfully. So that the times where people were actually writing the programs and everything else, that was back when Facebook was coming about, and all these new companies were emerging because of the World Wide Web. World Wide Web started off really, really slow, but once companies started getting in there and they started doing their biz, it started to grow, and it's been growing ever since. It hasn't stopped growing yet. Until we start running out of internet addresses, then that started becoming a problem. Then they're going to have to make a whole new SKU of internet addresses. That's really going to suck for them, because that's going to cost a lot of money. But yeah, I'm sorry, I did forget about that. I'm being honest with you on it. It's been so long ago, especially when your memory's going like blanco half the time. That's just with me. I'm always staying new and up to date, and I kind of forgot a little bit about the past, but not when I started out in the beginning. I can tell you, when I started out in the beginning, the very, 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 very beginning in 1979, those were the days. Very crazy of 8 bits. So, now we're at 64-bit. Maybe one day they'll push us up to 92-bit or go to 128-bit, which I'd love to see. So, IPv6 was made for that exact reason. Yeah, I know. I agree with you, man. I agree with you. But now they're gonna run out of addresses going with IPv6. It's gonna get to the point they're gonna end up having to come up with a new one. Knowing they've tried quite a few already and they failed, but we'll see. Seems like things were already advanced by that time. Something must have held up his progress. Yeah, there's many things that'll hold up progress. There's many things. When you invent something new, and you got these big companies out here, and you invent something new that goes against these big companies, the new product that somebody tries to put out, it disappears. I know you guys have heard of that, where somebody, like even in automotive, where they decided they wanted to come up with a new kind of fuel, and all of a sudden, like maybe 6 months to a year later, the creator of that new fuel type disappears. It's crazy. People don't like change. That's the whole problem. They don't like change. They like everything to stay the same way. But as the world is evolving, change is going to come, so everybody has to adapt to it. And the ones that don't want to adapt to it, they rebel against it. But we can't rebel against the future. If we want a decent future, we got to keep moving forward, not backwards. And that's what's happening with these companies when it comes to this games. The game developers don't want to optimize the games. They just keep pushing everything backwards. If you're going to make a game, optimize the shit. If not, people ought to say, well, you're not going to optimize the game. We're not going to buy it. And they'll go broke doing that. And then they'll learn to optimize games. You have to teach them a lesson of hard knocks. And that's just my opinion. So if you don't see, if people keep bending the knee to these companies, they're going to keep doing this. But when you stop purchasing their product and everybody games together and says, look, here's the facts, not the fiction. Optimize your stuff, make the hardware we got work easier and more effectively, then we'll start picking your product up. Until then, no more. We're done with it. And if people don't start using that philosophy, if you don't fix what's broken and you make us pay for it, then everybody's going to tell you to fuck off. Truthfully, I would have told them that a long time ago. If you're not going to fix your product, piss off. Simple. If they're going to make their product worse and not better, just like what Microsoft's doing, everybody's going to look at Microsoft and say, look, we're done. Millions have already run over to Linux, to that new one that just came out, the new Linux program that just came out. People are running over there. I forgot what it was called, my bad, but when I remember, I will tell you guys. I forgot what the name of it was. Maybe you can help me out. Because it was that company that got a million downloads in 30 days. Can't remember. And it took like 40% or something like that of Microsoft subscribers. And they moved over to that one. So, guys, be honest with you. Either these companies are going to start fixing things and make it right and make it run correctly so we can enjoy our everyday lives, either as gamers, builders, content creators, business people, or whatever. If they're going to keep making things worse and not better, then it's time for the population to teach these companies a lesson of hard knocks. I'm not being the bearer of bad news. This is the holiday season. I really don't want to be the bearer of bad news. But I'm not going to sit there and watch, good people being taken advantage of, system integrators. Or these companies that are selling you product for 10 times what it's worth. I'm not buying. I'm not going to buy it. The time I buy is when I feel that price is right. And right now, if I'm telling you I ain't buying anything, what is that telling you? Me doing this over 3 decades, I'm not buying nothing right now. Not until I see them prices come down and they become reasonable, I'm not buying nothing. Maybe I'll get my hands on some used products that I know it's tested, that I know it's ready to go. But that's if I get my hands on it. But if the price is too high and they try to sell you that same used equipment for new, I'm not buying it. That's what happens with some of these retailers. They sell you shit products. They even sell you the broken stuff at brand new prices? The broken stuff. I've seen that too. I've seen many of things over 3 decades. A lot. And right now, this is the worst of the worst that I've ever seen it. Especially when they want you to spend $1,000 to get 128 gigabytes of system RAM. Really? 264 gig sticks. Makes no sense. Let me see. Till Nova Lake. Yeah, I know. We're still waiting to see what's going to happen on Nova Lake. We're still waiting. Everything else is just filter. Yeah. I agree with you there, Dr. Blitz. I do agree with you 100%. My 2017 Power pre-built tower is making struggling noise as I watch this. I got it cheap at $900. The memory is too full. Okay, are you talking about the system RAM or the system hard drive? The system RAM being too full, if you're running 16 gigabytes, you need 32. I mean, 16 gigabytes back a year ago was the standard. But now 32 gigabytes is where you need to be. Because most of the games that I play right now are teetering 22 gigabytes. Including the operating system and everything else. So, yeah, 32 gigs would be more preferable. But if your hard drive is too full, then you got a problem there. Your problem with your hard drive is it should never exceed 80%. You should never ever exceed 80% of your hard drive. If you do, you need a bigger hard drive. I'll tell you that right there. Because once you exceed that 80%, you start slowing down. You start crawling. To the point to where if you fill your hard drive up on your, let's say you get an M.2 SSD drive, 1 terabyte, and you fill it all the way up to where there's nothing left, you'll crash your PC. Your PC will become inoperable. You will not be able to even to boot Windows. Windows uses a part of your hard drive. So that's why they tell you don't use it any further than 80% with any drive. So if you're going to run and put a whole bunch of games on your PC and you got 2 M.2 slots, I would suggest one for your operating system, just for your operating system. The second drive would be for your games, and only fill that up to 80%. If not, you'll start losing performance. So 80% rule on your SSDs, 32 gigs for your RAM space. If you got DDR4, you can even go up to 64 gigs, and it's kind of pricey right now. But when the prices come down, if you got DDR4, you can go to 64 gigs. This right here, this PC, this one right here, if you can't see it, we'll light it up for you. This one right here is 64 gigs of system RAM. That's DDR4. Now the PC I'm using right now is DDR5. I test on DDR4. I use this for DDR5 for my content creating and gaming and everything else. So I have 16 gigs. The cloud stuff makes 2-3 copies of every file. The storage drive is never used. Okay, so you need to go to 32 gigs. See, when you start doing cloud stuff, depends on what they're using it for. If you're using it for CAD work or something like that, it might alleviate the problem a little bit, but if you want your system to do more work and everything else, then you're going to need more system RAM. Because 16 gigs is kind of not the... That's kind of the old factor. The new factor, that's 2025, everybody's talking about 32 gigs is the new standard. So you might want to think about 32 gigs. Just my opinion. I thought about 16 for this, but it would never work for content creating and everything else. So I went with 32 gigs because it was $109 for 32 gigs. 6,000 CL28. You couldn't beat it at that time. But I got it before the price hike. So. If you game on Linux as an OS, you can still get away with 16 gigabytes of RAM. True, you can get away with it, but some people kind of like a little bit more push on their system. And when it comes to gaming, they kind of prefer Windows over Linux right now. Linux has got a small margin, but everybody still really likes to be gaming on Windows because it's more automated than Linux is, and people don't like to mess with putting in codes and setting up their stuff and doing all that. Windows is just plug and play for them, and they just go with it. So, but you are right. You can get away with 16 gigs on Linux, but people rather prefer Windows over Linux because of the automation part of it. So just keep that in mind. I'm above 80 for sure. Problem is that I have 3 different Google, Microsoft IDs. I can't get access to stuff authored under a different name. I don't game, but I run 3 4K monitors. I'm surprised it lasted this long. I love the case. I don't game. Okay, well, it's understandable. But if you want to beef up your system a little bit just to keep it going, then you can beef up your RAM a little bit. You can beef up your hard drive space a little bit. You can do it, making it affordable, yes. Just make sure when you purchase new RAM, you look at the QVL list on the motherboard and you match it with the QVL list, and you'll be fine. Now, as far as if you got an M.2 drive, you can go 4 gigabytes, you can go 8 gigabytes, depending on what you want. And if you need more hard drive space, just get yourself like a Seagate drive, a spinning hard drive. Get yourself a 20 to 24 terabyte spinning hard drive, and put all your stuff down in that hard drive. And 20 to 24 terabytes will last you really a good lot. I think I've seen one for like 229 for 24 or something like that terabytes of a hard drive space, if you were thinking about doing that. Me, I use a spinning 16 terabyte drive. I use a 2 terabyte for my gaming, and I use a 1 terabyte for Windows. You see how that works out? I put all my stuff on the 16. Then I got my 2 terabyte to swap for videos. And then I can put my games on it too. And then I just leave my Windows operating system alone. So I split all 3. Works out really well too. I mean, I got approximately, let's say, I got 4 years in videos on my spinning disk drive. 4 years. That's a lot of videos. Even the ones that I probably didn't publish. Probably forgot to publish, but, you know. I can tell you it's more than what videos I have now. I got well over 1,200 videos that I've done that are on my big 16 terabyte hard drive. I have Windows compression compressing it even more, making more room, so I don't have a problem with compression. Let's see, what else are we talking here? Yeah, well, basically you can upgrade your system, or you can decide to buy a whole new system. First, look at your options when you're building your PC. Look at what you have on hand and see what you can do to modify and make it better. And if you can't modify to make it better, then you're going to wind up buying a whole new platform. I'm not here going to blow smoke up your butt and give you smoke and mirrors. I'm going to tell you the real deal. First, see what you can upgrade on your system, and if it's not enough, then you're going to have to do a full upgrade. And that probably, depending on what you use your PC for, you can go from $1,000 all the way up to $5,000. Who knows? But right now, if you're wondering if this is the time to buy, I think it's a little late to buy. I don't think this is really the time to buy, really. Maybe graphics cards wise, that might be possible, but anything else? Probably the motherboard you probably can get away with too, but the new generation is going to be coming out sooner or later, 2026 or 2027. So, what are you going to do then? Think about it. You need to get an SSD for your system as well, since it sounded like you're still running hard drives. Probably. That's the reason why I said M.2 SSD. And I just gave you a listing of what's in my PC. I run a 1 terabyte SSD for the operating system. I run 2 terabyte SSD for my gaming and as well as my content creating. I do both. And then I keep a big 16 terabyte hard drive to store all my videos. After they're done created and everything else, they all go and they get stored. Simple. Wow. Yeah, 240 gigs is not big. So, I mean, even if you price shop, you could probably get a good 1 terabyte SSD or even a 2 terabyte SSD. And that'll kind of give you a little bit more headroom than what you got now. But if you're storing everything on your operating system drive, I really wouldn't do that. That's just my opinion, because my system runs more efficient away from everything else because of the way I got it set up. So, everybody's got their own way of doing things. machine never lets you want to use it, have you formatted the 2 terabyte drive to work on your system? That's the question. Some people, they didn't never formatted their secondary hard drives, and they just couldn't get it to work, so they just left them there. But you got to make sure they're formatted to the operating system, because if they're not formatted and ready to be used, then yeah, you're going to have problems with the 2 terabyte drive. But you're going to have to make sure it's formatted to the operating system you're using. If not, then you're going to have problems, because it'll be unrecognized space on the drive. So, unallocated. Oh, okay. Well, all you do is just keep working at it to make it to where it starts working for you. I'm sure that, it's probably an easy fix any way you look at it. You know, fixing fixing your drives to make them optimal to work for you. That's not hard at all. You know, I keep my drives separate. I don't mirror the drives together. Like the operating system and a secondary drive, I don't mirror them together. Okay. Because I keep every one of my drives separate. They're all formatted separate. I run them all separate. But when it comes to like me putting Steam games, I just put it on my secondary drive because it's split between the operating system and the secondary drive. So that doesn't take away from the speed. It actually improves the speed. So I don't have a problem with speed. I want to see the answer to this one. I'm just looking. I'm waiting for the answer for this one. Because the one biggest problem I got with the cloud, with Microsoft, what it does is it takes, and they say, oh, we're going to put it up in the cloud, and it winds right back up on your PC. The cloud is your PC. Makes no sense to even use cloud-based at all if they're going to put half of your crap back on your PC through the cloud base. Just that's the same reason what Steam does. They put half the program onto your PC, but the startup is in the cloud. How I fix that? I use the file compression from Microsoft, where you click on properties of the drive, you go to the properties, or no, you click on the, let's say the C drive, or not the C drive, not your operating system drive, your secondary drive. You right click on it, and you can go to the properties, and it'll show you for the compression. You can do extra compression. It'll start compressing everything that's on the drive, making everything a little bit smaller to give you more room. Do remember, you can get more room on your secondary drive by compressing it. Does compression mess with anything? No. Because I do it with Steam, and I game with Steam all the time and never have a problem with my FPS. Doesn't bother it whatsoever. It just compresses it down and makes it smaller. That's all it does. It doesn't hinder the activation of the programs or anything else. So, but that's only on your secondary drive. I would never do it on your primary drive. Where your operating system is, never hit that compression. Because Microsoft has their own compression tools that they use to compress their program down to where it needs to be. Now, the Windows 11 25H2 I got on my computer is only at 95 gigabytes. That's what it says I'm only using on my 1 terabyte hard drive is 95 gigabytes. No, actually, no. It says it's using 113 gigabytes. So. But using Cloudware, I wouldn't use it. If you're going to store anything for your own, store it on your own drives. Use a compression tool. And store it right on your own PC. Don't store it up in the cloud. That's just open up a big can of worms you don't want. Nobody really needs cloud-based. The only reason they use cloud-based is because they don't have the actual room on their PC to store anything, so they pay for a service to store everything up in the cloud. Do you think that's safe? It's not safe. What's more safe is being on a secondary drive on your PC. That's more safe than shoving it into a cloud. At least Microsoft or any of the other companies won't have your telemetry when it's shoved into your own PC. When it's in your own secondary drive. That's the thing. I've put patient medical records on the cloud. They're just Word docs because I don't want to get an electronic record system. Oh, okay. I understand now. Now I understand. Okay, so this is cloud-based because of your job. But that should not... Any records that you're putting on your PC, you should designate with that kind of program. You can designate that program to a certain part of your hard drive, and then you can still use the compression tool, and you can still shrink down all that and make more room on your system. It's not hard. I had to do that for a friend that they use everything on cloud base. I already seen how that worked, and I had to take and build everything for them, put everything into a secondary drive to have it redirected to the secondary drive, and then compress it down to where it's manageable for them. So yeah, it is possible. But if you're going to be using those programs, you need a big drive. You don't need a small drive. You're going to need a big drive. Because my friend, he's got, what was it? He's got two 25 or 26 terabyte hard drives, mechanical hard drives. He's got two of them. And I was able to mirror both of them, so he has like 50 terabytes. And if one of the drives go down, then all his stuff is on the other one, so he can just replace the drive and, mirror it back up, and that's all a part of RAID if you use RAID. So right, but remember, you can use RAID and mirror the drives together. Get two identical drives, mirror them together. If one of the drives goes down, the other one still saved all your information. So you just replace it with the new one. Format it, and remirror it back together as long as it's the same drive. Well, you could probably do it with other drives too, but it's safer to do it with the same drives. You know, I've done it before. I'm going to have to do that soon with what I got here. I'm going to have to take everything off the 16 terabyte, put it onto a 25 terabyte, and then get another 25 terabyte, mirror them together in a RAID on the same PC that I use, for gaming and all that, my content creating and everything. I could put close to four hard drives in here. I could still put another M.2 SSD in here if I want to. So I have a lot of room to expand. But I do understand what you're saying. Believe it or not, I do understand what you're saying. It's a security reason, but if you're going to need more space, then you're going to have to provision your computer to expand the amount of space that you have. One, you can do the extra file compression on your secondary drive to compress everything to make it smaller. And that'll give you more breathing room. Or two, your operating system drive, you're going to have to increase the size of your SSD. So that way you can be able to have more breathing room. But any other way, if you've already topped off your drives, you really don't got that much room left to work with. Because once you goes past the 80% of the drive, which you can look at your properties and you can see on your hard drive and see where the percentages of usage. And if you already passed the 80% on your operating system drive, you're best off to just go ahead and be able to, you can do it this way. You can get yourself a bigger drive. You can clone your operating system drive. You can clone it to a secondary drive. And then take your original out and then put in the new one, and it'll run just like the first one. It'll run the same way, but it'll leave you more room, so you got more breathing room. But for what you're doing right now, I would invest into some bigger hard drives. For what you're trying to do, you're going to need more room. So the best investment would be into bigger drives. But you don't want to keep filling it. If you're going to, the more you keep filling it, it'll get to the end point to where you're going to crash it, and then you're going to have no other choice. And the only way you can fix that is you have to clone the drive onto a bigger drive. And all your information goes along with it, and then it'll restore everything where it needs to be. But it's not good to take and overload your hard drives, especially SSDs or anything. Because once you do that, you're risking a fail to boot condition. And basically you'll blue screen all the time. Because you need at least 20% for the operating system. So, thanks for your help. I can do the cloning stuff, but It's tax deductible if I get new ones. There's a loop with my IDs backing up. Well, no, because when you clone, it should clone all your IDs and everything from one drive to the next. Good test is to get yourself a bigger drive, clone it, put your new drive in, and then, work from there. But your IDs should automatically copy to the next. It should be an exact clone of your first. So that shouldn't be an issue. I know what you mean, but it shouldn't be an issue. Even your product key from your operating system should clone to the next drive. And you should be able to use it in that same motherboard. So, I've done it before. I've never had a problem with it. So, however you wish to do it, my friend, that will be up to you. All I can do is I can give you the path to go with. If you decide to go down that path, that's up to you. But if you don't and you go a different path, that's up to you. So either way you look at it, it'd be your choice how you want to take your own path. But I can tell you, if you clone and drive from one to the next, all the IDs and everything go along with it. Especially if you're plugging it back into the same motherboard, it's all going to stay translucent. There's nothing going to change. And when it comes to your TPM 2.0 and your secure boot, that follows along with the cloning. So, this drive here, I've cloned the operating system drive on this already to this, my new one. They both have the same operating system. But this one here doesn't have the same product key as this one because this one here don't have a product key. This one does. This I have a product key for. This one, my new one, I don't. Not yet. Reason why I don't have a product key for it, because I have a sneaky suspicion 24H2 product keys are not going to work with the 25H2 product. So, I'm still looking into it. There's a catch-22 to this. So, I even told Microsoft I was married to myself to try to get permission, something saved. I had almost all my old drives. Such a pain. Yeah, I know what you mean. I told myself I'm not married to my drive anymore. If I need to upgrade, I need to upgrade. But when it comes to cloning your drive from one to the next, before your drive gets so overfull, I would clone it to the new one, get a hell of a lot more space than what you got now, because Windows 11 25H2, you can use all the way up to 30 terabytes on a single drive. Maybe even more. Who knows? But it's always good to have a backup plan somewhere. Especially if the work you're into requires a lot of space. And for what you're doing, you could use a regular spinning hard drive to do the work you're going to do. You don't really need a big SSD because all your work can be done right on that big hard drive. That's the reason why they're separated. Sounds awful? No, it's not awful. It's how you operate it. See, Microsoft gives you a path of the operating system. How you set it up, it is up to you. How you want, what kind of hardware you want, that is up to you. It's how you set it up, not how Microsoft sets it up. All they do is they give you the tool, and it's up to you to set up your own PC the way you want to. They just give you the tools. And you pay for the tool. And it's only like $24 for the product key anyway. So they give you the tool. And it's up to you how you use the tool. They don't tell you that you can do it this way or that way or whatever. No, they don't tell you that. You set up your product the way you want to. Your PC is your bread and butter. And if you want to make it better, then you have to set it up the way you want it to run. Microsoft doesn't do that for you. They just give you the tool. And to me, it's only the tool. So it's up to you how you set up the tool to make it run for you. A little bit of a catch in everything. I've been running Microsoft Windows and beyond Microsoft Windows for over 3 decades. It's had its ups, it's had its downs, it has its fronts, and then it has its backs, has its sides. You know, it has its quirks. Even Linux has got its own quirks. So, Linux, all operating systems always have a hiccup somewhere. Even with AMD software, NVIDIA software, all the software in the world, it's a compatibility thing. Are they compatible with each other? You have to go piece by piece by piece until you can make sure that the whole PC is compatible. Not just hardware, software. This is where everybody gets it wrong. You got 50% hardware, 50% software. If you don't combine them together as a whole, it's never going to work. You're going to be wasting your time. Excuse me. So, you have to build your PC to your usage. What nobody ever talks about. They always say, well, you know, because benchmarks of this and this is how it benchmark. They don't tell you. You have to set the PC up for your usage. I tell everybody there's 3 buckets in this world when it comes to setting up a PC. You got the business side of the PC, content creating side, and the gaming side. 3 buckets. Whatever you use the most, if you got it for business, then that's what you need to set it up for. But there might come time down the road that you might want to do content creating or gaming. That's the reason why I said to myself, okay, I want all 3 buckets. Regardless if I'm going to use it that way or not. It's going to be there in the future. So, I set up for all 3. That's the whole big world. That's all in one. So, I have all the terabytes I need right now for hard drive space. I have all the system RAM I need for right now. It runs good. I have all the CPU processor speed I need. It's the 9700X. It runs fine. And I have all the GPU that I need to do what I need to do because it's a 4070, RTX 4070 from NVIDIA. It does everything I need. It can even do CAD work if I wanted it to. But I don't need it for that. Just content creating, gaming, and business. All 3 buckets. But if you're just doing, work for your job, that's business. Then you can still set it up for all 3 buckets. Depends on how you want to do it. Mine, I precisionally picked all my parts. I picked all the parts I wanted for my PC precisely. Because I knew what I was going to use it for. And how I was going to set it up when it come to the BIOS of the motherboard. I knew how to set that up, and get everything to run perfectly, which it does. Right now, I'm only at 49 degrees Celsius on my CPU, and I'm only 34 degrees Celsius on my GPU. And my motherboard is running below 40 degrees Celsius. overall. That's a perfect storm, especially when I'm just live streaming. It shouldn't be anywhere near 90 degrees Celsius. So I have a perfect storm. So, but Windows is not awful. Okay, everybody else makes it sound that, but it's not. It has its ups and downs. Like I told you, so does Linux, and so does many other operating systems. Gentlemen, ladies, listen to me. You have to learn to bend the wheel. I had a problem with Windows on this system here, but I corrected the problem. I figured out what the problem was. I corrected it by a piece of software that totally overwrote Microsoft code. And it was for the motherboard. It was a motherboard issue. So I fixed it. This runs fine now. No problem. So, I have 3 buckets. When I set it up, I work for other people. It was just for fun. Been an experience being solo private practice from 2022. Hey, well, that's cool. That's cool. I understand. So basically, this is almost sounding like a server. Basically, what you're doing is a server. But if you're doing it in a server class, then you're going to need more hard drive space. 2 terabytes is not going to be enough. It'll be enough to where it carries you a little while on 2 terabytes. But you're going to need something bigger as a hard drive. That'll carry you at least 10 years. And if you got 100 terabytes of hard drive space for a server, that should carry it, depending on what you're using it for. If you're using it for just like bytes to kilobytes to like less than 30 megabytes for information, then that should last you God knows how long, 10, 15 years, if you're just using it for a server. And you mirror all the drives together as one. You have the Docker programs and all that with that. And you put everything on one. Never, you have it all set up the way you want. You can make your own cloud, basically. So all the information that you input will go directly to the server, the server itself, and you shouldn't have any problem. So, but if you're doing it just for fun, then that's cool. That is cool. But anyway, there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody of all kinds of worlds, we have reached over our 2-hour mark. And the reason why I tell you guys this is because that's, with my feet, that's only, I have medical problems, and I can only sit for 2 hours, and I gotta move on and move up and around and get the blood flowing back into my feet. So yeah, I have a little bit of a medical issue with that, but I do spend 2 hours with you guys because I enjoy everything with you guys, and I do my best for you, and hopefully you guys understand. And also too, if you subscribe to the channel, make sure you click on the link for the Discord if you want to become a Discord member. We do have a free Discord that you guys can join. We usually spend most of our time there. So if you got any more questions or information you want to ask questions to get some answers, that will be the place to be. And you're most welcome there, Mr. AF 1892. And again, welcome to the channel. So, end of the day, guys. We're going to jump out of here. And let me put this out to you. Oh, my bad. Miss AF 1892. My bad. I do apologize for that, by the way. But anyway, still, welcome to the channel. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all nationalities and all natures of all kinds of worlds, even if you're in outer space and you're an alien, that's all that matters too. So, glad you're here, glad you joined us, and glad you had a good time with us, and hopefully you guys learned something today. And anyway, if it's your first time here and you do enjoy the videos and the live streams, hit the subscribe button and the like button. Don't forget about the notification bell so you know when I post the next video. Till the next time and the next video. You guys know who it is, and we will see you. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great evening, everybody. Stay safe, and happy holidays to you. We'll see you next time, which will be, I'll be doing a video tomorrow. I don't know what time, but we're doing a video for tomorrow. Not a live stream, a video, so just let you know. But until then, we will see you on the next one.